And showtime, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the latest episode of ChannelPro 5-Minute Roundup. A look at news, trends, and tips for the SMB channel in 5 minutes or thereabouts. This week we are coming to you live from the SMB TechFest event here in Anaheim, California. A little bit more about that in a moment. My name is Freeman. I'm the executive editor of the ChannelPro Network. With me side by side this week is my co-host Erick Simpson, who is a business improvement and transformation consultant for MSPs and other IT providers. Erick, how you doing?
Doing pretty good, Rich, and it's awesome to be in the same location, in the same room with you yet again in kind of a stealth mode as we commandeered this conference room.
So as I mentioned before, we are at the SMB TechFest event. This is a quarterly conference, takes place in Southern California. If you're curious about it, check it out at www.smbtechfest.com. Erick is actually speaking here today. I'm covering the event for ChannelPro. As I mentioned, we're in Anaheim. I am from Seattle, and I brought the rain down here with me.
Well, it was here before you got here, Rich, truth be told.
All right, well, that's a relief, so it's not my fault this time. Let's dive into the news, and actually the story we'll be talking about this week is one that broke last week, but that we didn't really get a chance to talk about on the previous episode, and that is Continuum buying BrightGauge. Now, BrightGauge has been out there for a number of years. This is a business intelligence platform basically for managed service providers. It is the latest addition to the Continuum platform. Most important thing to say up front, BrightGauge will continue doing business as BrightGauge. The product will be available to anyone who wants to use it on a different managed services platform. But what's significant about the story is how it sort of fits into the bigger picture, the strategy that Continuum is pursuing right now. They believe very strongly that within the next few years or so, 80% of the revenue being made on managed services in this country is going to be collected by the top 20% of MSPs. Growing market, plenty of business to go around for MSPs of all different sizes, but you're going to have an elite 20% essentially that's really going to be commanding a giant hunk of the market. The people they believe who run these top 20% MSPs are going to be business-oriented people. So they're in the technology business, they'll have technology know-how, but they're really going to have a business mindset and a growth mindset. And anyone who has that kind of mindset really does depend on data for decision-making purposes. And that's what made BrightGauge such an attractive acquisition for Continuum. As I said, BrightGauge remains available as a standalone product, but going forward, it's essentially going to be the embedded reporting engine within Continuum's RMM and BDR and security, network operations center. The entire platform essentially is going to be drawing on BrightGauge functionality to give these business-oriented MSP business owners all of the information they need to make informed decisions instead of guessing a lot. So, interesting acquisitions. There have been a lot of acquisitions going on in the managed services platform space. Obviously, Kaseya has been very busy in that regard. And just as you would expect, they're all making the kinds of acquisitions that are a smart fit for their vision of the future and where they want to be in it. And BrightGauge made a lot of sense for Continuum in terms of where they see themselves going.
Right, Rich, and the point you made is salient. In a talk or in a panel I was on earlier today, we were asked the question about what we see as being drivers of growth for MSPs in 2019, and my response was it's the integration of platforms to give business owners the analytical data that is necessary to drive strategic decisions to move the needle. So this is, one step in that direction executed by Continuum.
So very interesting stuff, interesting purchase by Continuum. We will be keeping our eyes on further acquisitions. I'm quite confident there are more to come from all the big players in that managed services space. That takes us to your tip of the week, Erick, which I know has something to do with branding.
Right. So the tip of the week is all about creating a branding and thought leadership strategy for you as a business owner to be top of mind in the awareness of your prospects, your clients, your vendors, and your distributors. So I would encourage you to think about ways to create press and marketing buzz around your organization. And even think about how you execute strategic activities throughout the year so that you create a cadence of regular releases of newsworthy information, including press releases, reflecting these things in your newsletters, maybe making specific email marketing campaigns around these press initiatives. And let me give you a couple of examples of what I'm talking about. Another year in business, attaining competency, signing up with a vendor or a distributor, bringing on a notable client, right? Things that will impress your prospects and clients, and again, distinguish and differentiate you from your competitors by being seen as a growth-oriented organization.
And I'll toss in one other possibility, which dovetails with what I believe we discussed on the last episode of the show, which is this idea that you can and should get involved with nonprofit organizations, get on the board, do good work in the community. By all means, publicize that. It's good for the nonprofit. You can get people involved, participating, donating money, but it also kind of gets your name out there too.
An excellent example of this philosophy. Mm-hmm.
Well, we've got time for just one more story this week on the 5-Minute Roundup. It comes to us straight from our Too Much of a Good Thing department. Concerns a truck in Flagstaff, Arizona earlier this week that overturned while carrying 40,000 pounds of liquid chocolate, which sounds like a great thing. 40,000 pounds of liquid chocolate out in the street actually becomes a chocolate river and an enormous mess. Interesting story on its own. What makes it doubly interesting, of course, is it's really only been about 4 or 5 weeks since we last talked about something exactly like this in Germany, where there was an accident and a chocolate river flowing down the street. Eric, is this a trend, a conspiracy? Do we need to start worrying about chocolate rivers? Is this a problem?
I'm leaning more toward the latter. I'm thinking conspiracy, Rich. We're going to have to investigate further.
We're going to look into that, folks. You're going to want to stay tuned to the 5-Minute Roundup and find out more about this emerging chocolate river issue globally here. If you like the show, by the way, you'd like to keep up with future episodes, take a look at some of the ones we've done in the past. What you want to go to is the ChannelPro Network channel on YouTube. Subscribe to that. You'll get all the information you need about what we've done before and what we have coming up. Want to learn more about Continuum buying BrightGauge, business growth strategies for your business, all sorts of other good stuff. Go to ChannelProNetwork.com on a daily basis. We are continually updating that with great information for you. To learn more about Erick's business and the services that he provides to his clients and what he could do for you, you want to go to www.ericksimpson.com. That's ERICK Simpson.com. We are going to be back probably in 2 separate locations a week from now with another episode of the 5-Minute Roundup. Until then, enjoy the rest of your week. Eric and I are enjoying the rest of your week already.